Welcome to American Baker in Germany. I'm Michelle, and today we are continuing our Baking Basics series, and this time we are talking about baking at high altitudes. I actually used to live in Colorado, which is 6,000 feet, and that was solidly baking at high altitudes. We're going to go over at what altitude you need to worry about it and what kinds of things you need to change your recipe so that it actually turns out. Let's get started.
First of all, what is high altitude and why does it make a difference in baking? High altitude is defined as above 3,000 feet or 1,000 meters. At that high of an altitude, the air is less dense with fewer molecules and the air pressure is lower. Those are the biggest two factors that affect baking. When making breads with yeast, because of the low air pressure, the bubbles in the yeast rise to the surface faster than they will at low altitudes. So you will need less proofing time. Most yeast recipes require an hour of proofing time or until the dough is doubled. Watch your dough. It will be done raising when doubled in size. You probably won't need an hour. Temperature. Why would you need a different temperature? Well, because there are fewer air molecules floating around, the heat doesn't travel through the air as efficiently as it does at low altitudes where there are more air molecules to carry the heat. Because of this, you will need to turn the temperature up. Liquids. Because the air pressure is lower, liquids evaporate faster than at low altitudes, so you will need more liquid than most recipes call for. Baking powder. Why would that be different? The lower air pressure causes the bubbles to rise through the dough faster, which makes baking powder more effective than it is at low altitudes, so you don't need as much. Sugar. What? How could altitude possibly affect the amount of sugar you need? Well, because liquids evaporate very quickly, it causes the density of the sugar to be higher, so your recipe can taste sweeter than usual. However, if you follow the other guidelines perfectly, you may not need to decrease the amount of sugar. I consider this one optional. Now let's get specific. Baking at 3,000 feet or 1,000 meters. Increase baking temperature by 10 degrees Fahrenheit or 5 degrees Celsius. Decrease baking powder by 1/8 of a teaspoon for each teaspoon called for in the recipe. Decrease sugar by 1 tablespoon for each cup or 200 grams called for in the recipe. Increase liquids by 1.5 tablespoons for each cup or 250 milliliters called for. Baking at 5,000 feet or 1,600 meters. Increase baking temperature by 20 degrees Fahrenheit or 10 degrees Celsius. Decrease baking powder by 1/8 of a teaspoon for each teaspoon called for in the recipe. Decrease sugar by 2 tablespoons for each cup or 200 grams called for in the recipe. Increase liquids by 3 tablespoons for each cup or 250 milliliters called for. Baking at 7,000 feet or 2,300 meters. Increase baking temperature by 25 degrees Fahrenheit or 15 degrees Celsius. Decrease baking powder by 1/4 teaspoon for each teaspoon called for in the recipe. Decrease sugar by 3 tablespoons for each cup or 200 grams called for in the recipe. Increase liquids by 4 tablespoons for each cup or 250 milliliters called for. I hope this information was helpful for you. For more recipes and tutorials, visit our website at AmericanBakerInGermany.com. We're also on Facebook and Instagram. Subscribe for more tutorials.